What do you think about Conor's performance tonight?
I thought it was a good performance. Good to bank the 12 rounds. I think Dobson was good. He was tough. He was smart. Well schooled. Moved well away from the right hand. Came to survive a little bit, but fought Conor a few times. First time he's ever gone 12 rounds. Good box ticked.
Do you think this was the type of fight that Conor needed at this stage in his career?
Yeah, but listen, every time he fights, he's still got this situation dragging over his head, which hopefully will be cleared up in 2 weeks' time. But that's it now. He's boxed Orozco, he's boxed Dobson. Now he's got to jump in a real test. He calls those names. Let's see if he's ready. There'll be some people, he didn't look great. Let's then fight him. Eubank still doesn't fight him. He's 2 divisions higher than Conor Benn, and yet still won't fight him for millions and millions and millions of pounds. So, hopefully someone will step up and fight him. But time to go into the deep end now.
Do you think it would have been better if he knocked him out?
Of course. What a silly question.
Well, I mean,
that's probably the worst question I've ever heard.
Well, the reason why is because, the conspiracy, right? They're going to say comparing with Chris Algieri, right?
Yeah, but Chris Algieri's a light welterweight, moving up to 147 pounds. Dobson's a big 154 pounder that brought him down to 151 pounds. So, I think that I like the 12 rounds, but as always, you want him to go and make a statement. I think it was good for his development tonight. Not quite a brutal statement, but maybe it'll be easier to make the fights now.
Were you surprised Dobson stood up?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. But he, his defence was very solid, and he was calm as well in the pocket. So Conor didn't actually nail him that clean that many times. It was always, the shoulder roll was good. The shoulder was good with the right hand. He was stepping away from it. So, I think he hurt him in the 12th round particularly, and I thought he was a decent fighter.
What you message to Chris Eubank Senior if he's watching?
Nah, Senior's not involved anymore, but Junior, I don't know what the problem is. People keep talking about Chris Eubank, who boxes at 160 pounds. He shouldn't be made to make 160 pounds against Conor Benn. He's 160 pounder. Conor Benn is coming up 2 divisions to fight Chris Eubank. On that basis, surely that's easy work, easy money. So hopefully now Chris Eubank Jr. will accept the offer.
Great Conor Benn's defense tonight. What did you think defensively about how he carried himself?
Decent, good feet. I would like to see him use the uppercut a little bit more because he was shooting high with the right hand. And Dobson was leaning down a lot, so I'd like to see him bring his shots up a little bit, box well on the inside. I said Dobson's well schooled. He's not going to win a world title, but he knows how to look after himself and defend. And I thought, on reflection, he'll enjoy the 12 rounds.
Devin, I guess there was a tweet that said, where did he says about that shit in the needle.
Yeah, Devin can come and fight Conor in London at 147 pounds.
So
how massive of a fight is that?
Because I know in 2 weeks, like he said.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, once he's won that case, we're told he wins the appeal. If he does, it's all over. We're back to the UK.
But if it's not all over, where does he fight next?
I mean, still in America or in the Middle East, but that's not the plan. Really, when you won the first case so convincingly like he did, we expect it to be a formality in a couple of weeks' time.
Eddie, how do you go into repairing a fighter's reputation from something like this?
What you do is you realise that in life, the worst thing you can do is give a fuck what people think. Right? You're never going to please everybody. So if you are a good person, you've got a clean heart, you just have to live your life. And you're never going to get over people on Twitter or people that want to criticise or people that are entitled to their opinion as well. But what are you going to do? Individually box off every negative comment. You just got to fight. If he's telling the truth, which we believe he is, then really inside he'll know that he's got a clean heart and he can go and live his life. So I will say it's nearly been 2 years since that test as well. He's been through a hell of a lot, and hopefully just a couple more weeks to go.
With that performance on Jaron Ennis and the
Yeah,
UK,
long way. Even before that performance, and Conor's calling out Jaron Ennis and Crawford. He's 22-0. He's 26 years of age. I still feel like he's got 2, 3, 4 more fights at the levels. Let's be honest. There's 2 or 3 levels between Dobson and Boots. But he still needs to beat those good guys, and whether that's a Kell Brook, whether that's a Liam Smith, whether that's a Chris Eubank Jr., they're the guys that if he beats them, I think he can start mentioning those names. But that's not a performance that's going to tell you he's going to beat Boots or Crawford.
What is it that gives you pause for Ennis, but not for a Haney fight at 147 or Eubank
Well,
at 60?
I just think that, Eubank's not very good, and is nowhere near the likes of, Haney and Boots and Crawford in terms of ability, but he's big. That's the biggest challenge, is you've got to go in with a middleweight. Boots I rate as a pound. When you talk about Crawford and Boots, I rate them I mean, Crawford definitely top 3 pound for pound, and Boots I think he's got pound for pound ability. So it's not like, you know, he's not ready for big fights at welterweight. They're just two specific individuals that I think have probably beat everybody. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to be really ready for those kind of fights. And, you know, although Conor Benn is a promising young fighter, he needs to bridge the gap between Dobson and those guys.
Any thoughts on, you know, Bivol and Beterbiev got announced?
Yeah, we signed it. Yeah. June 1st, fantastic. And Matchroom against Queensbury's on the same night, which will be electric in Saudi Arabia. And, you know, I think we all agree that Bivol Beterbiev is probably the best fight in boxing, or one of the top 3 best fights in boxing. So we're delighted to get that over the line. And I don't think we would have done it without His Excellency. So thank you to him. And June 1st, it's on.
Speaking of His Excellency, he recently let out a statement saying that he would fine $10 million if either Fury or Usyk pulled out of this fight. Yeah. What do you think about
that?
Great.
You know, I mean, May 18th is going to come around very quick with that cut. You know, you probably need 4 weeks for the cut to repair. So then you're talking about end of February. So he's got March and April. So he's still got a nice 9-10 weeks. And I don't think if he stays conditioned that he's going to need to worry too much about sparring. He's probably going to do 4 or 5 weeks of sparring. So I think it's enough time. You know, and I think obviously we need the fight. We want the fight, and hopefully May the 18th it will happen.
When you first saw Fury's cut, what did you think about it?
Deep. Yeah. I mean, are you referring to, is it genuine?
Right.
Of course.
Well, not that if it's genuine, just your overall.
My overall thoughts are is that, you know, injuries can happen in sparring. Fury wears an open head guard. You saw there was a shoulder, an elbow involved. It's a freak injury. I've seen many cuts in sparring, but not many 2 weeks out before the biggest fight in boxing. So that's really the big surprise. But, you know, I've seen loads of people. Look, I don't work for Fury. We don't always get on. It'd be very easy for me to sit here and go, oh, I reckon, you know, he's making the whole thing up, and he's asked the doctor to cut his eye to get out of the fight. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. Like, I know we're all living in a world in boxing of rumours and but come on, have a fucking brain.
Well, Igis Klimas said you got your girl to hit you with a pan.
Yeah, I know, but these guys, I love Igis and I love Alex, but come on, Tyson Fury he's making whatever he's making, 50, 60, 80 million dollars. He's trained for 10 weeks. Do you honestly think that he's got together with his team and gone, right, what we're going to do now is you're going to slice me across my eye in an injury that may well open up in my next fights, and we're going to use it to get out of an Usyk fight? I mean, you know, I'm starting to get on board with a few conspiracy theories, but that was well over the top.
Eddie, does the $10 million penalty change maybe the way you train going into the new day?
I mean,
change your headgear maybe?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think, like I said, Fury wears open headgear when he spars. Some fighters do that. It is more dangerous, but no, it was around the same area as the cut against Wallin. There's actually 2 cuts against Wallin, I think, and he's kind of like in the middle. But obviously that tissue is going to be injured and weak. But you know, it just looks like a freak injury.
News from the cinematic boxing world, sad news from the cinematic boxing world. Carl Weathers, the beloved Apollo Creed, passed away yesterday. What's your reaction?
Yeah, obviously thoughts with his family, and you know, I guess like anyone around my age growing up, Apollo Creed was as big a name as Muhammad Ali to you as a kid, because obviously Rocky was real to me, and Apollo Creed was like the baddest man on the planet. So yeah, also other great films. Schwarzenegger, was it Predator? Yeah, you know, so he'll always be remembered as Apollo Creed, but you know, God rest his soul.
Was he the most realistic character in those films?
Yeah, but he was very good, wasn't he? You know, I mean, when you actually look at it, like as a boxer, his footwork was really good, and like you had Rocky, just, you know, he was a brawler, but actually Apollo Creed, that's why, from a cinematic point of view, watching it, he actually looked like a boxer. He didn't look like an actor.
Right.
I always actually thought that Apollo Creed was a real boxer. So that's how good an actor he was.
I talked to Kenneth Sims after the fight, and he said that, you know, he didn't see the power that he saw before with Conor Benn. He joked and said, you know, it seems like he's missing the eggs. Just what are your? I'm sure maybe he's one of the only few people that says that.
You know, if you look at the knockouts that Conor Benn's had, it's really only the Chris Algieri one that's been like a devastating knockout. A lot of them have been accumulation of punches. You know, there's no doubt he hits very hard. He hurt Dobson in the 12th round, but I think Dobson's got a good chin, I think. And also as well, he's fighting guys that are a lot bigger. Like that fight was at 151 pounds. Dobson is a 154 pounder. He's been fighting there. He's had a couple of fights at welterweight as well, but he's really a 154 pounder. In his last fight against Orozco, he boxed a middleweight right, who came down to 154. Go and watch the fight, the size of a Roscoe. Huge in comparison. So once he's fighting, don't forget Algieri was a light welterweight, super lightweight, and he poleaxed him with a beautiful right hand that landed perfectly on the chin. So this is what people obviously are going to say. But Conor Benn still has fantastic power. We see it in sparring. He's icing people non-stop. But against the bigger guys, it's going to be more difficult to take him out.
A few days ago, a shocking announcement, Shakur Stevenson.
Don't wait. It's ridiculous. Like, I don't even know why we give this kind of stuff airtime. Like, Shakur Stevenson, one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the planet. He's so fucking boring. How old is the guy? 27, 26, I don't know. 26. Of course he's not retiring. Just say to him, all right, mate, bye. Come back to us when you've finished your tantrum. You know, what Shakur Stevenson should be doing is actually getting off Twitter. Because I rate him, as I said, as one of the top fighters in the world. But he's so, like, all this stuff. You know, Ryan Garcia, I'm fighting Devin. I'm fighting Rowley. I'm fighting this. I'm fighting that. And then the fans are like, what is going on? You think that a fan wants to read about Shakur Stevenson sulking about the politics of boxing and saying he's retiring, and then when he comes back, would you expect people just to support him even more? Like, you're gonna, like, just think about what you're saying when you know his time will come. And when he's moaning because the WBO ordered the fight between Navarrete and Barancic. This is the rules of boxing. He's WBC world champion. They're not going to order the WBC champion to fight for the WBO title. They're going to follow the rules. Navarrete moves up from 130 to 135. You become the automatic mandatory challenger, and Barancic is number 2. That's why they're fighting each other. And guess what? When Navarrete beats Barancic, I would think Top Rank will make Shakur Stevenson against Navarrete for a unification. So he's just sulking. You don't need to sulk. You're in a good position. And the fans don't like sulking.
Is it harder than... Oh, go ahead.
Because he did an interview and he acknowledged, like, it wasn't the Navarrete. It's just, I guess it was, like, maybe his promoter. Like, the Lomachenko fight seemed like it was supposed to be...
Yeah, but look, he's obviously does it. He wants, in my opinion, I think he wants out of Top Rank, you know. But I think Top Rank have done a good job with him. You know, no one really wants to fight Shakur because he's really good. This isn't a criticism of Shakur. I just said to you earlier, I think he's pound for pound one of the best fighters in the world. But I know how it works. These guys are not looking at Shakur Stevenson as an opponent. Oh, that's a good fight. They're looking at his style and his ability and going, a bit like Lomachenko when he was coming through. No one really wanted to fight Lomachenko. It's only when Devin came out and actually went, I'll fight him, and chased him, and then they moved him up to, what was that thing they used to do?
What do you mean?
The champion.
Oh, franchise.
Franchise. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember the franchise? Yeah, I know. So that's what happened. So, you know, I think Shakur's just got to put pressure on Top Rank and say, what's my plan?
Okay, would you be interested? Because, you know,
of course, yeah, look, you know, as I said, I can't compliment Shakur enough. Ability. It's just difficult to do a job for Shakur Stevenson because he's not yet the name that he should be or the draw that he should be. Therefore, when you fight him, you're not getting the payday that the risk rewards. Do you understand what I'm saying?
He said he'll be open to be a B-side. Like, he's like, I'll be cool.
Yeah,
like,
but it's still like, why? If you're not getting paid a lot of money to fight Shakur Stevenson, why would you do it? The answer is maybe to be great. Yeah, but we know that the boxing business doesn't always work like that.
Yep.
So I think he beats everybody. I think Devin and him, I think that's a real great fight. But if you're Devin and you can make, I don't know, well, put it this way, if you can make double to fight Ryan Garcia than you can to fight Shakur Stevenson, who are you going to fight? You know what I'm saying?
Well, so you money or legacy. That's what they say,
but
right?
what about both? You know, I mean, at the end of the day, you can't eat legacy.
Last one, please.
I see you sitting with Dana White. What's that relationship like?
Really good. We're, you know, good friends. Like, he'd come to support tonight. I come to the London shows. We had a couple of meetings this week. I just really, I always take people as I find them, and I respect him massively. He's always been a real gent to me. He's always given me his time. And like, you know, I'm sure you guys have got people you respect in your respective industries. He's someone that I respect in mine. I think he's one of the best promoters of our generation. I think the UFC is a business that I look at and think I'd love Matchroom to be at those levels. So when I get a chance to spend time with him and learn and listen and take in the energy and experience, it's a blessing for me.
Do you believe he's purchased Top Rank behind the scenes,
no.
as was rumored?
No.
If he did, would you love to do business with him, though?
Yeah, I always do, yeah, for sure. Like, I think, like he said to me tonight, it's funny. He said, wow, because Conor, don't forget, Conor Benn is likely to walk into a massive fight next, right? And obviously, if he loses tonight, it's an absolute disaster. So I'm like, and he says to me during the round, he says, wow. He says, it's so different for you. He says, you really need Conor Benn to win tonight, don't you? And I'm like, fuck yeah. And he went, well, with my guys, we've got them all. So it's just whoever wins, wins. I'm sure he's got his favourites, but whoever wins goes on. Whoever loses has another fight. And that's the difference. And I don't think boxing is a model that he would actually, not understand, but enjoy. Like, you know how hard it is to get people in fights? Like, you're dealing with managers and advisors and lawyers. People just want to take easy fights for the most amount of money. He goes, you v you, next week, see you there. And he's done. Imagine him having conversations with managers and advisors. It would drive him crazy. So, but obviously UFC sit on ESPN. Top Rank sit on ESPN. Who knows? Top Rank's deals up soon. Is it next year?
25.
Yeah, next year.
Yeah.
So
that is next year.
Yeah. So who knows what's going to happen? Watch this space.
All right, great. Cheers, guys.